Hey, Nicholas.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. How are
Good.
you?
I'm doing real good. Kicking butt, taking names, losing my hairline. The usual. Getting
Same.
older.
Yeah, for sure. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. You too, man. It was great to see your name pop up whenever this happened. You actually booked a couple weeks ago, if I remember.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, I remember. I see everything. I'm like the Wizard of Oz. I see every dollar come in and stuff. So it was cool. It was cool to see your guys' name pop up.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm messaging my next appointment and rescheduling it real
Okay.
quick. Give me just one sec.
No
Yeah, I
worries.
got I got something at 5, but I've really learned that I'm done at 5. This is with one of my employees. So I'm like, we're gonna change this. Okay, we're gonna change this time because I need to stop working ASAP.
For sure.
But anyways, I saw you put a note on the thing talking about, I believe, creating follow-up systems. And maybe something else. Tell me what you guys are looking for today, how I can best help you.
Yeah, we made a little list kind of in addition to that.
Okay.
I'm reading your email again. Let's see.
Okay.
So something we had was within systems, automating follow-up, and maybe even we do not have any automations, period.
Okay.
Um, we don't use any zaps.
Okay.
Our sending offers is all manual. So everything we're doing is pretty much manual, which
Right.
allows us to really personalize, but then there's inefficiency.
Yeah.
Um, and then we've never really run a multi-touch campaign where we're doing direct mail and then cold calling and then texting the same person. I
Sure.
think we probably sent like 2 letters to the same people, maybe 3, but even that's rare.
Yeah, the few lead mining pros campaigns that we've run have been in addition to direct mail, but it's
Mm.
never been consistent. So we've sent some text after sending a mail piece just to be like, hey, did you get the mail piece? But it was like on one or two campaigns.
Right.
And we've done like a little bit of cold calling, but I think we still have like a couple thousand cold calls we need to use it. So we just haven't really systematized like multi-touch campaigns to the same.
You mean like ongoing, like the full process? Like, what is the full process that we adhere to every time? Is that kind of like what you're alluding to?
Yeah,
Yeah, got it.
yeah,
Okay. Well, that's super cool.
Yeah, so there's that. I mean, converting leads, we didn't really have anything in particular, but I feel like I'm the person that's talking to all of our leads now, and
Okay.
I mean, it's been going well. I remember I hadn't started yet, and you were like, we had chatted with you. God, this must have been like quite a long time ago.
yeah,
Yeah,
Probably,
I think it was probably a year ago at this point, I'd
yeah.
imagine.
And I
Time
remember,
flies. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, it really does. And I remember a couple of things that you said that stuck with me.
And I feel like out of all the things we should chat about today, it's like the last because we're
For sure.
converting leads.
Mhm. Yeah.
Which is
Um,
what's of all the things you mentioned?
So we're converting leads. Like I feel like acquisitions isn't really a pain point of ours. Like we could be
Good.
better, doing well. Charlotte's doing really well with that. We have a lot of stuff that we need to dispo now.
mhm.
So that's more of a pain point. But yeah, the developing systems. Another thing that you had on there that like you're really good at that we are struggling with is analyzing KPIs.
Right.
And we have on here marketing as well, but that kind of falls in with developing systems and just
Mhm.
systematizing our marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, cool. Was that everything?
I think so.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I'm just going to start going down the list here, okay, and giving you guys my opinion on everything I heard you say, and then interrupt me and remind me, and oh, let's talk about that now, or whatever it might be. So, what do you guys? No automation. That was the first thing that was said. So, what are you guys using for a CRM?
Pebble.
Okay,
We focus exclusively on land. So we got into the Pebble camp early through Travis
great.
and Jesse. And yes,
Yeah, that's great, and that's good. Do you know what support Pebble provides for automation?
they have like their knowledge base and everything to learn about it, but we haven't really gone down the rabbit hole with it to see how we could utilize it within the CRM.
I
So
know
one
it.
thing, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I know there's like Zapier and Pebble talk to each other nicely,
Gotcha.
but that's like all I know.
I don't really like Zapier that much
Hmm.
because Zapier's overhead.
Hmm.
Okay, I fucking hate overhead.
Mhm.
don't fucking charge me for things, okay?
Amen.
So here's what I would recommend on the automation front.
Hmm.
Reach out to Pebble. Who is your preferred developers you guys work with? Okay, I have a developer right now that I use. He's probably a little premium. Jordan Belfort uses him, for example. Right?
Wow.
The guy's awesome, and he's also not that badly priced. But I also do almost 100,000 a month, so it's different. But he really is a good price. I think in bulk it's $80 an hour, and they're American. They're not foreign. Okay, but I'm just giving you an example. So my biggest struggle with automation has been this, and you guys are probably at this point. So I want to give you a little tip. It becomes so daunting, you start never fucking with it.
Sure.
Right. And you're like, well, God, we really just need this one little, we just the thing. And then it doesn't happen. And then 6 months and you need the other thing. And then that doesn't happen. So one thing I did that was a big deal to me, and I'll tell you how I came about it. I have like $75,000 in a Roth IRA. Okay. I put money in and then I bought a bunch of stocks when COVID hit. And then and then I sold everything because I didn't, you guys might know this, but when stocks fall, so do your money. So I'm the kind of guy that when I quadruple my money, I'm out. Okay. I'll wait for another crash. Right. That's kind of my theory. So then I was like, what the fuck do I do with this money I can't touch till like I'm 65? Now I didn't end up doing this, but it hit me like a lightning bolt. I should take all that money and put it into my business. Now, the only thing I can put into my business, because I have organic sales traffic, I'm my own acquisition agent. And again, I'm not talking real estate as a lead mining.
Sure.
I sell on my own clients, right? The only thing I could do is make my fulfillment team work less hard, right? Which also improves my customer experience. So I decided to take $20,000 and hire a developer. And then instead of even saying I have it all figured out, I was like, here's $5,000 a month for 4 months. And it really changed my life because now when something happens, I have a built up stack of cash already dedicated. And to be honest, if I would have never done that, I would not still be fixing my problem. It would still be too daunting, like I was referring to. So you guys, I don't think your problems are that big. My recommendation would be like $3,000, stick it in the bank, find out how much Pebbles guy charges first. They're going to have a guy, right? They better, they better have a guy, So find out how much they charge. And then based on what they charge, I would just create $2,000. $3,000 to start. And then meet with them. Get your 4 biggest problems taken care of, and then have them automate that. And then how do we know what to automate? You guys might know better than I do, but it's the shit you're doing every day. That's the shit you automate. I have a personal rule. I use this great thing called Text Expander. Okay. It's like $3.95 a month. I'll actually just do a share screen so you can see the power of it real quick. All right, so this is an example. I wouldn't call this automation, but I definitely call it time saving. So if someone says, hey, Nick, send me an email with some additional info. Well, I type in ZZ info and it says, Nicholas here, founder of leadminingpros.com. We spoke earlier. You've requested some additional info, and this whole thing comes up. So just a small example on how to approach your automation. I catch myself, if I say anything 3 times, I need to put it in here because I know I'm going to say it a 4th. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And so so my Text Expander, let me open it up for you now so you can see how robust it is. $3 a month, and every single one of my employees can log into the account. Not $3 per user, one user, $3 per month, and then everyone can log in. So I have my entire team use this. My VAs use this when replying to emails. My text messengers use this when text messaging for clients. So it's like I have all of these, and this is a small, this isn't real automation, but this is a great start, and it's like $3 a month. So, so lead mining dialers. So this is their script. This is for marketing. This is a formula for multiple numbers. So like all these shortcuts that we might need, I have programmed in here for my team. So
Oh,
when
Hmm.
you think of automation, think of it the same way. What am I doing 3 times?
mm,
I'm gonna do it a 4th.
mm,
Okay. So
Mm.
that's one big thing. Another thing I'll throw onto that, just because we're talking about time saving, is I kept a notepad next to my computer and I realized I was doing too much. Now, because we're the owners, it's hard to honestly realize all the shit we actually do.
for
So I
sure.
kept the notepad and I was like, update client, message client, to the client, and then customer service, and then send the invoice. And I was like, and then I went over this list and I was like, okay, Nick, what actually has to be you? Okay. What actually has to be me?
Mm,
And then I went through and I wrote stars next to everything that had to be me. Then I met with 2 VAs I have. And I was like, you guys are doing all of this other shit
mm,
from now on. And that was also really powerful for me. Okay. And then what I did is, I'll just pull this up. I created that's not it. Let's see this one. I remember it. Yeah, nah, I remember it being naming something funky. Responsibility chart. So this is another thing that I did. I
Huh.
wrote down each employee's name and what they're actually responsible for.
Wow.
Okay. And this was a big deal because keep in mind, my business has been running for years. So it can like get out of control for me,
Yeah.
right? My employees create their own fucking subsystems and they start doing their own fucking, and they do a great job, but I
Yeah.
can start to lose control. So I was like, everyone write out what you do. Then I had another chart that Lord knows I can't find right now. That was called, let's see if it's in here. Let's try this one. So now I wrote down the hours they work and their roles. That there's now I know when I'm covered. Because what was happening was I'd get a message and I'd be like, I don't know who's working, but somebody help me. Okay. Well, that was very scary for me. Like it raised my stress level when dealing with my team. Okay. So I was like, I didn't know when all y'all motherfuckers work. Okay. All right. And it's not that they were keeping it from me, I never had it outlined.
For
So
sure.
then I made sure, and then I also made sure I had coverage. So
Hmm.
this girl, she works till midnight, she works till 5, she works from midnight to 3 a.m. with this other girl. So it's like, it's really now I have like all this coverage. I was very easily. Now, this is a different answer to your question, but I think it's just a great way to start organizing
Yeah,
overall,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's great to see. And yeah, we've kind of gone back and forth on like when do we hire someone to start doing those tasks that are just super repeatable, super easy. And yeah, we just haven't really settled on something. So it's cool to see that.
Yeah, so it starts with that task I gave you earlier, which is keep a notepad, and it's got to be a notepad because if it's a doc, it's in the tabs. Where is it? I can't,
Yeah.
keep it separate, write down everything you're doing, and then that's the VA's job. And do not ever hire a VA without having their fucking job mapped out.
Mm,
Okay. I'll tell you right now, I just spoke at a little mini conference. It was a digital one, and you can't even blame them. They're in a third world country. They've got a dumbass American willing to pay them $5 an hour, give them no responsibility, no clear direction. They're going to sit there on your clock and they're going to bill you and they're not going to work. And they're going to know when you don't have your shit together.
mm,
And then when they pick up on that, they're going to prey on that. And it's not even their fault. Earlier I said, that's what I would do. If I was Filipino, I'd find all the lazy investors to hire me. I'd get them all to pay me at the same exact time. I'd make $45 an hour and I would do nothing. Okay. And it's like we did, but that's the world they live in, you
Mm.
know? So what we have to do is our systems have to be so superior. They have to be able to catch these slackers.
Mm.
Okay. And dude, it's never the slacker's fault. It's always your fault. And I don't mean you don't fire them and you keep them on because it's your fault. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you can train a hard worker to accidentally be a slacker and ruin them. I've almost never, I've been a restaurant manager for 13 years before this, just so you guys know. I've never seen anyone turn into a slacker back into a performer under the same leadership.
Mm.
Okay. Once you train them to be that way, it's impossible. They're going to be like, but you don't care. But you don't care. Well, no, I do care now. But that's confusing for them. What do you mean you care now? You know, it's like, and I'm just being frank. So like, if you do that, hey, no worries. You're not right for this, but make sure you have it mapped out and time yourself on that doc that you write down, 15 minutes, 20 minutes to do this. You know, I'll tell you right now, I had a virtual assistant go on vacation for a week and I did their whole fucking job that week. And I did it in 20 fucking hours and they were billing me for 60. Okay. Now I'm cool with you billing me for 35 to 40 maybe, because I'm an American and I'm more expensive and you are only making $6 an hour. But if we don't even know, then we don't even know that they're taking advantage of us. And I at least want to know when they're taking advantage of me. So one thing I do with my team, and I'm probably going to get in the weeds a little bit here with you guys, but I just want to show you how crazy I am. Okay. This is my P&L. All right.
Wow.
This is super in depth. Okay. I track, and I just want to show you guys what I track. Okay. I track total hours worked, dials per hour, leads per hour, dials connected, contact rate, leads generated, dials per lead, dials completed for the whole week, lead per hour performance, which is leads per hour divided by dials per hour. Okay. And then how much I paid everybody.
Whoa.
And that's just my cold callers. So it's like, I'm not confused one bit, dude. So let me just give you an example. Dials per hour. I think we got fucked this year. So you're going to see something happen here. Okay, watch this. So we got 182, 154, 55, 35. 35 is bad. Let me tell you what. When we're dialing 120 hours a week to do, look at this, is 50 less right here. 50 less per hour. Well, watch this, man. Equals 50 times 120. 6,000 dials for the same amount of hours worked.
Wow.
Do you see that math?
Huh.
That's crazy. So when my team slacks, okay, I just want to show you guys this just to show you what happens at the full system. This dials per hour drops. Okay. So watch this, because this happened this year. I remember I started cracking skulls. All right. 127. Look how bad that is. 180. Then it goes down to 127. What's happening here? Something's happening. Then we start, look at these, 125, 131, 126. I'm losing a fortune during these weeks. And look, this is 200 hours. So if we did 200 hours, this is going to be crazy. I don't even want to do the math. I'm just going to piss myself off. But if we did 200 hours, what's that? 186, that's 60 dials less than our first week. That's 12,000 dials less that week we did.
Wow.
Right? So now what's my real job? My real job, other than to make you rich, is to make me profitable. Okay. Now, the good news is I've got some room for error here. We're very profitable. However, I want to be maximizing my team's productivity. So I go in there, I start researching everybody. Come to find out, we got somebody whose dialer malfunctioned. Okay. So they say, right? Okay. Well, their dialer malfunctioned. Now, ironically, after I brought this up, their dialer stopped malfunctioning.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay. Now, maybe me bringing it up made them aware. They still work for me. They're doing an amazing job. We caught it quick. We caught it quick. It was like a 3-week window. Okay. We caught it fast. And because of that, I'm not too upset. Right. And what did I say earlier? Whose fault is it? Right. It's my fault. So I went to her and said, hey, I'm going to fix this. We're going to do this. Da, da, da. I was very stern. I compared her stats to all the other employees to clearly show her that it's obvious something's wrong.
Hmm.
And then she goes, well, I didn't know. I said, well, just so you know, you should have known when you worked 8 hours and you only spoke to 15 people
Yeah,
because you never work 8 hours and only speak to 15 people.
Mhm.
for
You know
sure.
what I mean? So I'm really hard to argue with, but when you have KPIs like this,
Yeah,
you become really hard to argue with.
for
Mm.
sure.
Right? So I just want to show this to you guys. So when you track, okay, when you track these things, the numbers may not mean a lot today,
Hmm.
but when you see them week after week and go, something's wrong here.
Hmm.
Something's going on here. So that's just something really cool I wanted to show you guys when it comes to tracking employees and tracking KPIs and stuff.
Do you input all of those numbers manually yourself?
I have a VA do almost everything in my business now. You know, now I created the first couple reports,
Mhm.
right? Everything starts with me. I was our first employee. You guys might know that. I was my first cold caller.
Mhm.
And I was our only employee for the first 5 months.
Mhm.
We were so busy. I was literally crying at my desk one day because we were busy. Trust me, I could have been crying because the mortgage was due. I wasn't, you know, but I was like, I can't do all of this shit anymore. And I called Highwell. You know, Highwell's my guy. I actually found Highwell when I was an executive at an education company.
Hmm.
And we never ended up hiring him, but I liked him. And I reached out to him a year later and I was like, you still looking for work? And he's been with me for the last 6 or 7 years, which is crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. You know, and then he's taken some wrangling. He's awesome. But you know, everybody has to be watched. Systems break, like they'll be doing something and then one day it just breaks. And then the whole system seems to be broken. And then you realize, like I showed you the responsibility chart, somewhere along the way, it evolved into this broken system that no longer worked. But again, my fault.
Hmm.
You know, Highwell's been there. He's been awesome. Even the other day, I said, Highwell, I just want to remind you, I'm here to help. You know, the other thing employees do is they think keeping things from you helps you.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
bullshit.
Hmm.
They don't know that. So you always want to be like, when you see something, say something. Let me know. I'm the expert. I want nothing more than to help you solve your problems. You know,
Absolutely.
yeah. But okay, cool. That was a lot of employee talk. Do you guys have any questions or anything about that? Or
I don't think so. It's really inspiring to see the way that you're tracking everything.
Mhm.
From roles, I think we can implement that notepad thing and tracking the tasks that we're doing and the time that we're putting into each thing and just kind of seeing what we could take away from ourselves. I think that's
Yeah.
huge.
Mhm.
and you know, and I would give yourselves a budget. Okay. So the thing is, my business is different. I can't believe it, man. You know, we've done $20,000 this week already in sales. Like it's crazy. But with real estate investing, it's different. You guys live on big explosions of cash. Okay. So I would start small so it's not daunting, you know. And here's how I do. Ugh, I can't believe I almost left this out. Whenever you hire someone, you always cap their hours.
Hmm.
I don't want you working more than 15 hours. I
Hmm.
don't want you working more than 20. When you hit 20 hours, you let me know if you have to keep working.
Hmm.
Now you're getting a feel for their bandwidth.
Hmm.
Now you're getting a feel for what the actual needs. You never say, and I made this mistake, even late in the game. Yeah, hey, we're going to give you this new job. This girl, I was like, how did she work 100 hours this week? Swear to God. Swear to God. How'd she work? Well, she thought this. And I was like, do I think this employee worked 100 hours? No, I don't.
Mhm.
Do I think she took advantage of my lacking clarity? Yes, I do. She's still with me to today. Some people are really worth it, but be careful. One other thing I'll say is when you think you need to fire someone, you're 3 weeks late at least,
Mm.
right? Because I'm sure you guys have a heart. Let's keep them on. They're doing all right. You know, I learned that about help. So I used to be really bad at asking for help.
Mm.
And then, because in the restaurant industry, when you're bad at asking for help, it shows. You just get crushed, right? And so I realized that I didn't think I needed help until it was too late. So then I started realizing that I need to ask for help way before I think it's time to ask for help. Because
Yeah.
if I wait, then someone has to come and bury me out, dig me out from under what's on top of me, and then the help starts.
Yeah.
You know, so I equate that to employees,
Mhm.
right? When you're in the tenants and anything in your life is the same way. By the time you're actually fed up,
Hmm.
you probably should have done it a long time ago, right?
Mm.
So just use that to empower yourself, not to backslide.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because it's hard. You know, the day comes like, I'm gonna fire her. You know, we'll give her another chance. We'll just one more chance. You know, and I just want to tell you that there's someone out, two things. There's someone out there dying to work for you under the conditions you've created,
Mm.
and that person isn't happy working for you, or else these things wouldn't be happening.
Mm.
Okay. I
Yeah.
used to tell my employees, you hate it here. I don't hate it here. No, I can tell you hate it. You're not doing anything I want you to do.
Yeah.
You don't do that at places you love. So you know what? I don't think, I don't think you're happy. Like, screw whether I'm happy with your performance or not. Your
Yeah.
performance sucks because because you're not feeling it. But you don't, like, they don't have the balls to break the connection.
Yeah.
You know? It's like a toxic relationship, and so I just keep that in mind too. I know you guys aren't too far, like maybe on the hiring line, but still some cool expert information for you.
Yeah.
Know?
That's great
Mhm.
food for thought, because we are definitely in the consideration process of bringing a first employee on, not even full time, just here and there, or whatever it looks like. And so these are all really good thoughts.
And that's the one last thing I'll share with you is you guys might want to consider a part-time American,
Mm.
Mhm.
depending on the task at hand. You make a post right now. I do it several times a year. You guys might see I'm always hiring. Okay. Make a post, $13 to $15 an hour, work from home. And trust me, guys, don't do this commission shit. Don't do the commission thing. Okay. Here's the only way commission works is if there's already a team in place.
Mm.
But if I'm your only employee and it's commission only, I'm going to be like, so I got to prove this concept and not get paid at the same exact time. Like, that's a lot. I'll tell you, $15 an hour, work from home, jump on a Zoom call. I get people lining up for my job, and so I would just say, if the tasks you don't want to do are more complex and you don't want to trust a VA, make a post on your personal Facebook looking for someone part-time. And then what I tell people is, this is not going to pay your mortgage. This might pay your car payment.
Mm.
Okay. I'm extremely transparent with that.
Yeah.
Don't try to make this something it ain't. And there might be more opportunity, but we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, they're putting it that way.
Mhm.
So an American might be a good fit for you guys too. If you think part-time and if you use that strategy, look, we're looking for someone 10 hours a week to start. I'll pay you $150 a week. That's $600 a month on the side. And you're going to learn real estate. Don't forget there's a value exchange too.
For sure.
Your post could be, who's been dying to learn real estate and wants to be our protege,
Yeah.
Mhm.
our executive assistant, or something along those lines.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, that could be a good deal. And then you never know. That's actually a great point. And an American at $10 at 10 hours at $15 an hour might be way more productive than a Filipino at $3 an hour at 30 hours a week.
Huh.
Right.
Interesting.
So that might be something interesting to consider.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions before I move on to the next point?
I think that.
Yeah, I don't think
Mhm.
so about that
Yeah,
part.
that's great.
Mm-mm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I kind of beat that one to death. Sorry about that.
No, it was needed.
Sure, sure. The next one was the system of multi-touch. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna try to get real nerdy and see if we can create a flow chart for you guys at the same time on what this process looks like. Give me 1 second. I think this is it. Look at some of these flow charts I've been making recently. Look how crazy this is.
Whoa.
Isn't that wild? It's so much fun. It is so much fun. I took a part-time executive job with Jack Bosch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I'm working on building his program back better,
Oh.
and adding in some great reinforcement. He likes what I've done with lead mining, and he wants to bring a lot of that high-end customer service into his coaching team. And
Wow.
I was like, dude, you hired the perfect guy, so it's been really cool. All right, so I'm gonna create this board here. And how do you guys like, so what's your current process?
We research a county, we pull data for the county, we mail it, and then maybe in a few months we'll mail it again, and then maybe in a few months we'll mail it again. It's a pretty loose process.
Okay.
And we've been working with supercharged offers, which I know
Okay.
AJ. So
What do they charge you per mail out?
so we bought a big package a while ago and we've been like slowly using it. That was $1 a mail piece.
Okay.
And that includes like pulling the data, scrubbing for road access, pricing it, and then the mail piece itself.
Out the door, you'd say $1 per piece out the door would be a good way to word that, right? Like there's no hidden charges in that thing at all.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Okay, so then we have, let's say that means 3,000 mailers is $3,000. I'll actually add that over here. I just love playing with these things. Like I'm not the king of this stuff, but it starts getting cool the way you start to see the way you organize thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, we've never done
No.
anything like this, so it's very cool just seeing this in process as something that we
Yeah.
can utilize ourselves.
Yeah, and I'll give this to you guys whenever we're done too, like a copy of this board and stuff. So you'll have that. So and the reason why I asked that is because I think what's really important for you is to also prioritize your lead sources, right? So what I might do, texting and cold calling it depends, right? And that's why I want to weigh this out to you. Texting and cold calling is definitely a cheaper cost per lead,
For sure.
but that doesn't mean it's a cheaper cost per closed deal,
Mhm.
right? And I think it's up for you guys to almost decide which strategy you want to lean into. I think that calls and texts are great if you like sifting through leads.
Mhm.
Okay. That's not for everybody, especially not for a lot of land people. I know land can be pretty easy and that can make some people a little lazy. And so, because now that I'm in my land company, we had a coach hire us, get 23 leads on $400. And he said, Nick, I'm not going to call these guys, I just want to mail them, and I get that. And he's like, Nick, I've been lazy over the years. I said, they were coming at a time where I can't be as lazy anymore, but I still am,
Oh.
so I appreciate him being honest, but I share that because I respect the fact that cold calling and texting, they are more work on your part, right? However, they're going to come in at a fraction of the cost.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So this is really up to you, the order you want to do it in. But
Mhm.
what I'll do is I'll try to create like a little.
Yeah, one of my so we're working on I don't know if you know Rich Lennon, he's local here.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Awesome. So he is our mentor locally, and we're working with him and doing quarterly rocks and level 10 meetings every week for our to-dos. And one of our to-dos for next week is to start digging into our cost per lead, our cost
Yes.
per deal. And we don't even know, like, from the texting that we've done, the cold calling and the mail, like,
What's what?
yeah. So we have so much to unpack.
Right, exactly. And so that's why I didn't just want to say we're going to mail first, call, then text, because that actually may not be the system. So I'm going to put them all parallel. Okay. And then you guys just know, prioritize them. Judging that the mail is $1 per piece, what I'd probably do is get the list. I'd probably call and text, depending if you like that sifting. If you guys are good at the relationship, I think if you can systematize, let me rephrase that. If you can systematize the relationship, then I think you're going to be good. So we'll actually get into that a little bit. So then we have the pull, the call, and the text, right?
Mhm.
So there's actually there's actually like skip that occurs in here,
Sure.
but that's no big deal. We'll just add this little.
This is awesome.
We'll just add that. Yeah, isn't this cool? It also makes me feel, these put me at peace,
Yeah.
because whenever I'm confused, I'm like, what the fuck does the flow chart say?
Yeah.
Let's go back to the flow chart. It starts to feel like you have policies in place, is what it feels
Sure.
like.
I
So
love that.
then we've got texting, then we've got lead flow. So I'm just going to put lead flow right in between. Actually, let's just call it different. And, direct mail, these are faster. These are faster. The question is, are they faster for the cost?
Mm.
Right? So the real question is, find cost per lead for mail.
Mhm.
Okay. I think that is important, or maybe cost per deal. If you have both, the thing is, I'm trying to find cost. Okay. Now we have this strategy. Now we have a relationship lead. Okay. So I'm sure that this process, let's just go ahead and finish direct mail. They call in. Do you guys have Pat Live or anything?
Yeah, we use answer first, but yeah, same.
Okay. And then, so answer first, answers the call. And then they vet the lead. Is that right?
We don't even let them do that. They just get the reference number, because we were having really bad, like when we were listening to the recorded calls, they were just not good. So we want them to be as low touch as possible, just to intake the lead. And then
Okay.
we do the research, and then we call them back.
Okay. So they call back and they say, I just got your postcard. Yes, we're interested. And then they're just like, awesome. If you could just give me the reference number, we'll look up your property and someone will be reaching right out.
Yeah.
Is that about right? Okay, great.
And our speed to lead is pretty slow, which we need to be better at as well. But
I will say with land, here's my rule of thumb. With land, you got 24 hours. With houses, you got 24 minutes.
Ooh.
Okay. So in my opinion, if you guys are calling land back the next day, I think you're doing pretty good. Okay. Maybe the new system with the automation, when they get put in, they get a text. Thank you so much for calling. We're reviewing your deal right now. And someone will be reaching out by tomorrow at 5 p.m. the absolute latest.
Wow.
Is there a time that works best for you? You could do like a whole thing, right? And
Wow.
so it's like that's where I want you guys thinking. Okay, so this is a great. Now let's go back to automation. So I would notate that when the lead gets put in, if Pebble offers phone numbers, you would ideally have Pebble text the person and thank them for their time. Let them know that you just received the information from your associate and that you're going to work diligently to craft an offer or do a light investigation or whatever, right?
Okay.
Now you've made a touch immediately. And then you could be like, when over the next 24 hours would be, what time tomorrow? That way you give yourself the rest of the day today would be best for us to meet. And then you want to take that automation a step further, is it might even be able to auto book on your calendar.
Wow.
2. Okay. So that's the kind of, and all of a sudden your calendar's looking like mine, you know? We had 16 sales calls yesterday and I didn't have to do shit,
Wow.
you know? Yeah, we're blowing up right now. It's crazy. That's crazy. I think it was a world record. I thought I could do it. By the end of the day, I was like, I'm done.
Did you get through all of them?
I did.
Oh, wow.
And you know what? No one bails on me
Huh.
on sales calls. I literally have, I would wager say I have a 95% show rate on these calls. It's crazy. I feel like the luckiest son of a bitch alive. I really do. I can't believe. I know if I was doing real estate, I'd be struggling. It's tough, you know, and I don't mean to say that any kind of way, but I
Yeah.
created a business that feeds itself. It's very rare people are knocking on your door going, I can't wait to sell you my house at a discount, right?
For
Lucky
sure.
for me, my business does have people knocking on my door being like, I need you to go. But I respect how I really feel like I got lucky.
Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. And I mean, I think it's way more than luck. Like, look at the way you track your KPIs, handle your team and everything. Like that's some serious skill and dedication. So
Yeah, no, I love that. And thank you. And thank you. Because, you know, even I forget, I do say this thing all the time. I built this company almost 6 years ago and I went crazy 6 years ago. I always say I must have had my mad scientist hat on because now, guys, I can barely even enter that frame of mind. That because you almost need to be an engineer to create what I created a long time ago. But I'm not an engineer anymore. Now I'm like an artist. Now I'm like free and I'm like wild and I want to do whatever the hell I want to do. And so it's really hard now almost for me. And that's why this is where flowcharts come in. Because
yeah.
now I communicate in flowcharts and then other people hopefully do my bidding. So automation implemented like we talked about.
Yeah.
So then right now, let's just say, so that way we don't get confused about our current process. So then reference number comes in, you do research, and then you call with an offer. What's your strategy on the first call?
Just okay.
Like an introductory call. Like what's the story? What's going on? Do you have an idea of time and price? And then I say, we'll get back to you. Like I'll be like, I'll pass this along to Matt and we'll be able to get back to you.
Yeah, we're pretty slow moving with it because we do want to build the relationships and we do think that's kind of our niche is like being really personable with these people because we're working locally. We're not working all over the country.
Gotcha.
So yeah, phone with them.
Yeah, I think that's smart. You know, it's really all about the relationship with them, you know. And that's perfect, which is why cold calling and text, if you guys already have that, see, here's the reality. If you guys already have that approach for direct mail, that approach is already perfect for cold calling. So the flip side is if you can get leads at 1/10 of the cost and you already have the relationship part down, systematized relationship, okay, then it's going to be much easier to really to work those cold calling leads, right? I think the question is how quickly can we scale our relationship system, right? Is really the question. But I like the where we're going here. So introductory call, we find out information, and now, and I call this like I tell every client, every call's worth 2 to 5 minutes. If they're a total asshole, we hang up the phone. If the conversation's going well, we never hang up the phone. Right? That's what I tell people, right? Doesn't matter what we're talking about, doesn't matter if prices don't match up. If we're chatting, we're chatting, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I see that call right here almost. Okay, there's that like 2 to 5 minute temperature check. If they're a total dick, we don't even want to buy their piece of land. We don't want to wrestle with this guy to do this anyways. You know, so then we have the info. Do we call back? Do we start the money conversation here on this next call?
So that on the next call, yeah, in between the first call and the second call is when I do my like initial due diligence and research just to get an idea of property value, if it's even worth it for us, all that. And then yeah, on the follow-up call is when we start talking price. or more questions. if we need it.
Or I just send an offer. Like it's either
Mhm.
option one is call them again and be like,
Yeah.
we see a pond on there now, like blah, 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 talking about specific things we found, or disqualifying them, or the third, hopefully we get to this one first, is sending an offer, and we do that through DocuSign.
Perfect. So you guys do use DocuSign. Yeah, Jack Bosch still teaches regular snail mail for contracts. I think that shit is crazy.
Hmm.
It is. Yeah, they snail mail the contracts,
Huh,
you know, and then they put a business card in there
huh.
and they say, call us. Actually, I don't even know if I told them to add this next part, slide a business card in, and then you call them and you say, hey, the offer's in the mail. If we're close, give me a call. If we're not, don't bother.
Oh, wow.
That's kind of what I would do. That way it's like, hey, you know, hey, I just sent the offer out to you. Let me know what you think. So something like that could be cool. That way we're not like blowing our load, for lack of a better term, or like telling them everything right up front. Maybe we're letting some suspense build, giving them a week. Are they, oh, what are they gonna send? What are we gonna get? You
Oh.
know, so that's kind of what they do.
Mhm.
So due diligence comps, and I do agree with the one more touch offer feeler. That sounds perverted, but I think you guys get what I'm saying, right?
For
It's
sure.
like we want to see how far away our number is, and we want to provide them with the respect that you know, we know it may not match up what they're saying, right? And so I always think any offer that's given, we want to give it with some opportunity for feedback.
Mm. Love that.
Okay. Every time a customer uses my service, they call me if you need anything, questions, concerns, or any feedback.
Mm.
Okay. And it's like, and we just want to know, hey, are we high? Are we low? Are we close? Is it something else? Is it, you know, because otherwise they could be like, what an asshole, you know, and they just like throw, you know, it's gone now, you know, and it's like, we are like, no, call me, let me know. Because
Yeah.
I've called you twice now, you know, and you spoke to my team, you know,
Yeah.
so it's like all this stuff comes up. Then, you know, then we do, and you do both DocuSign and mailer. You know, if they don't even, because I think DocuSign will even show you if they open it.
Yeah.
So if they don't even open it, bam, mailer goes out,
Yeah.
you know?
And I guess that's something that we could automate somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you guys have a thing, a 24-hour, your VA is a great VA job. When we send out things, we're gonna want, like, let's say it's a 48-hour timer on these DocuSigns. If they don't even open it, they're not opening it.
Yeah.
After 48 hours, right? Like with email nowadays, I imagine they're getting their own spam and shit, right? So
Yeah.
it's like after that 48 hour, we go to the mailer.
Interesting. Yeah, I like that.
I like that too. I think that's cool. And then, and think about, and I bet if you look back to how many DocuSigns were never opened, it might be high, it might not be, but now you got a whole second crack
Yeah.
at those guys.
Absolutely.
Now, the mailing does come with an expense, and I hate expenses, but you know, I think maybe you do it 10 times and then you stop.
Yeah.
And then just like get a feel for the energy around it.
For
you know?
sure. No, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Whew, this is awesome.
Yeah, you're good. I'm glad you're liking it. Wait till you see what I'm about to do. It's really going to blow your mind because you guys already do such a great job. I was going to create a whole nother flow here, but I'm so glad we did this first because now we just get to go right here. So when cold calling and text messaging comes in, you don't do the direct mail. It's not faster. Answer first isn't involved. There's no reference number yet. Not from them, from us. We don't need the automation. It goes right from our lead to team research, to introductory call, to due diligence comp. So your system is already so good for cold calling, you don't even need two systems. And I
Mhm.
think that that's a relief. Some of these people with direct mail, they got a whole different system and they have to actually implement all of this down here,
Hmm.
but in your case, you guys don't have to do that. You're just
Hmm.
having your cold calling and your texting resume here,
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I think that is going to be a huge benefit to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So I purchased a offshore calling package a while back that I still haven't used because I wanted to reach out and see like if I'd be able to pay to get that upgraded to American.
Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely.
I can reach out to your team about that, but just a question I had.
Yeah. We always allow upgrades or changes,
Okay.
and
Awesome.
stuff like that. What I'm going to do real quick is, do I spell your name right now? How do I spell it?
Parozza. Yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
And then I don't know which one. I don't know if it will let you guys access it because I use the free version.
Mhm.
But if you guys need edits, we'll figure it out. I'll make
Yeah,
sure.
And we can
viewing's
always
cool, for
make it,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, true. You can always recreate. Yeah, great point. Great point.
Awesome.
I just want to send that over to you guys real quick.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, really, where this ends is with like a campaign review, right? So one of the things you do with Rich that's going to be similar is we're going to have our, campaign review. So
Mm.
what I might do while you're figuring out what works best for you, maybe the old data, it's too hard to figure out direct mail, leads, cold calling. So maybe you do, $1,000 worth of mailers,
Mhm.
and then $1,000 worth of cold calling,
Mhm.
and then I really think calls and texts are similar.
Mhm.
So that's probably what I'd recommend. And then really get a feel from there. So, I'll just go ahead and create some stuff.
So when you're trying to like find the KPIs for that and like really measure them against each other, are you doing those to the same lists or to different lists, different count? Like how are you doing that to where it can be like almost apples to
I
apples?
would do it to the same list, man.
Okay.
I would do it to the same list. And you know what? I wouldn't do it in a sequence, man. Let me tell you, dude. People frustrate me so much sometimes when they're like, I'm gonna mail first and then see what leads I get, and then I'm gonna call them. Let me tell you, you're gonna like wait a month to scrub 10 people off a fucking list,
Yeah,
right?
so true.
Am I
Hmm.
wrong? Like it's
Yeah.
it's not enough, dude. Who cares if they get a fucking call on top of that call only costs 30 cents? It's like it's you waiting a month hurts more
Yeah,
than doing both.
that's such
So
a good point.
yeah, thank you. But it's like I know it always, and I do love Alicia, but every time she's like, they're gonna mail first and then call. It's like they should really like that is really not. If they're definitely going to call and text,
Yeah,
then they should definitely not wait.
yeah,
Mhm.
Okay, it's like because while they're waiting, guess what? Other people are swooping in. Other people aren't waiting.
yeah.
If
Such a good.
anything, they're closing deals because you're waiting.
Yeah,
is really what happens.
that's a great point. Yeah, I love that.
And I'm going to give you guys just some loose KPIs here. So I
Okay.
think for direct mail, we've got how many people called back,
Mm-hmm.
how many people actually became a lead,
Mm-hmm.
how much the total cost is. Lead mining doesn't really need answer first. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, but maybe when you're analyzing the total cost, you think $1,000 worth of direct mail and $300 worth of answer first. So I'm just saying, think of the whole picture. I'm not telling you not to include that. They can definitely help with our campaign too. you
Sure.
know? But like really think of what is the total cost, not just what I'm pretending the
Yeah.
cost was.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And
makes
then
sense.
I would really almost weigh out. Okay, closed.
Those cost per lead, cost per or total leads, total.
Cost per lead, cost per deal.
Yeah, but also will you be able to send this recording or is it just for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, yeah. This is for both of us.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I might use it for a marketing video or some
Yeah,
clips.
sure.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's the only thing I ask. I'm like, dude, we'll chat, but I'm gonna pull the nuggets out of this bad boy too.
Please do. Please do.
Well, just so you guys know that it never stops. This is why I like doing this shit. Like, you don't think I'm learning just as much as you guys? Like, I don't fucking know what I'm doing. You know? It's like I may have done it before, but like I'm learning too right now.
That's awesome.
You know, and so yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
I love that.
What do I care? You know. And then you know what an interesting another one would be? Estimated total effort. Okay. You know, like God, that was that was tough. Got 9 leads, 3 of them were nightmares. You know, you know, it's like how was this worth it?
Yeah.
You know, it was $2,000. It was, you know, these leads were crazy, you know, or whatever it might be, you know, and then really ask yourselves, like, did this resonate? So, for example, the way I build businesses organically, I don't like going out and doing paid traffic. It doesn't hit with me. Like, or if I stuck to Facebook, I probably wouldn't be nearing $1 million this year. Right? But it's like, but because I leaned into something that works for me natively, and I didn't try to recreate the wheel. So that's the other thing to ask yourself, right? Is this resonating with who I am as a person?
I like that.
Yeah, so this is what I would look at for these campaigns. And when you look at this and you see 1,000 gave you this and gave you that and gave you this, right? You're gonna get really clear.
Yeah.
And then as you guys perfect this, you know, another thing I remind all of my clients is the better your customer service is, the worse your follow-up game can be. Yeah, think about that.
Yeah.
Right? You know how I know this? Because I have no fucking follow-up game at all.
We
And
haven't.
you can probably attest to it, man. I've never ever reached out to you. Like, you may have gotten a email for marketing, but like you don't get nothing else. There's no funnels, there's no big sales sequence. But because I answer my damn phone, they call back.
Sure.
And they go, I'm back. And I'm like, I totally forgot about you. Thank you for coming back, right? But on the flip side, it makes you look like a badass because you're not desperate for their house.
Yeah.
Right? You know, if someone hired me and I called them 5 times to buy cocoa, they'd be like, what the fuck is that guy going through? Right? And it's like, but if I'm like, hey, I'm super dope, call me anytime, ask your friends. And then the other day, a guy called me, perfect example. Hey, Nick, I heard about you through Kendall Lejeune. And then I put on a completely separate podcast with Seth Williams. And you know Ajay Sharma, I think through Travis King. He's like, I found this guy, Ajay, saying that he made $40,000 using your service. And so it's like, I don't even have to follow up anymore.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm just everywhere. You know, it's like, so
Awesome.
what I share all that to say, when you guys crush this process,
yeah,
it's almost going to be whichever one gets you the most leads in the end.
Hmm.
Because when you crush this
Yeah.
and the customer service rocks and just starts coming to fruition, the tail of those closings are probably going to be greater, you know, or they both work, or direct mail gives you $10,000 today and cold calling gives you $30,000 over the next 3 months, right? So these are all things that, so that's another important. Let me add that in here. How long is it taking a deal to close?
Oh, yeah. That's an interesting metric.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, time to close the deal from when the marketing goes out until we're actually closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a big one for us.
Yeah.
This is fun. I feel like I'm like making a puzzle for adults.
That's incredible.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like putting the pieces together and being able to visualize the flow is
Yeah,
really
it's
cool.
great.
and isn't it cool? Do you guys, and what's going to happen in your head now? This is what I've learned is when you see this, you're going to see it exactly like this vertically. And you're going to see it like it's cool. It's so organizing. It's like automatically compartmentalizing data in your brain. You
Yeah,
know,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
I can't, guys, I can't do it any other way. Then you see, I'm on the free version, so I don't even know how free this free gets, but I've made a bunch of these already.
That's awesome.
All right, and now I threw your notebook for the next. Do you guys have any questions about any of this, real quick?
That was incredible.
Yeah, that was so good. Let me see. If we can-
Awesome.
That was.
And you know, this was actually powerful because we almost covered everything here. Because
Yeah.
you also mentioned analyzing KPIs.
Yes,
That's
I
another
mean,
thing.
you hit on that within that. That was great.
Right.
And
Fantastic.
I think the only thing we didn't crush was dispo systems.
Yeah, which that's hard because we are so local. And that is a hesitation that I at least have that maybe you can talk me out of, for someone else doing cold calling. And maybe it's me, but like, I don't particularly want to do that. And so I
Yeah.
would rather hire it out, but no one knows, no one will be better than me at talking to people because I'll care the most. And we're
Right.
so all about Virginia, and it's, you know, you went to Virginia Tech. Like I'm like working all those things. And so I don't even know if it would work for our market, and like our strengths are like us being this like couple, and I like talking to people and like hearing their story. And so like, I feel like we lose out on the very thing that I feel like is like the only thing
But
making us
the
money.
cold calling is just seeing if they're interested in selling, and then you would take over the
Yeah.
call. So that's just
So it's
getting
just
the
that
lead.
first,
Yeah.
But we're talking about reaching out to buyers,
Yeah.
So
right? Now, how do you find buyers now?
organically through meetups.
buyers.
Yeah, not sellers.
Okay, I was talking about sellers.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. The dispose is mainly for, we have the property under contract and we gotta get it to where it's going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
sorry,
it's all been,
I went backwards.
it's all been organic.
Okay. And now, have you guys heard of neighbor campaigns?
We have, but we haven't run any.
So I had one guy call me up and he has us pull all of the neighbors in the area.
Hmm.
Okay. And he has me pull all the land around it. He doesn't even have me do sellers for him. He's like, Nick, I got so much fucking land. I only need neighbors.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so he has us call the neighbors and ask them if they're interested in buying a neighboring lot.
No way.
Yeah.
Huh.
I think that's a really cool strategy.
Hmm.
Okay. Because it makes perfect sense. That one guy that wants land, why wouldn't he want more if he's happy with it? Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of the theory. So that's one thing that's really cool. Another client of mine has her clients go online to all the licensed builders online. And then they pull all the phone numbers, and then we do a builder cold calling campaign
Oh wow.
to all the builders, and those work really good. Okay.
I didn't know you guys do stuff like that. That's awesome.
Well, you know, we don't, but people keep coming up with shit for us to do. You know, other land communities find us. I'm actually so big in land right now, bro. Like I'm it. Like, it's like, almost everyone in land is like referring people to me. And so I'm able to see the builder strategies, the neighbors, like it's cool. And like, I'm always like, yeah, we'll do, if you got a script, we'll do it.
Huh.
You know, and the builder campaigns have been blowing up really well.
Oh,
And
wow.
so I think before we get in the true disposition, it sounds like we need to find better ways to build our buyers list.
Yeah.
And then once we have all these segmented buyers, we can create a dispo system. So my suggestion would be to pursue buyers from neighbors, to pursue buyers. I can also pull a cash buyer land campaign too. So I can pull everybody in the last year who bought a piece of land cash in your market and send that to you. Okay. So neighbors, cash buyers,
Builders.
builders.
Oh.
And I think that's it. Was that everything that I mentioned
Yeah.
for them?
And for those scripts, would we have to create those scripts, or are those scripts that you have available that we could use?
We have builders.
Huh.
We have buyers. I would probably ask Travis or Rich or whomever for a script for buyers, because I don't think we've called for buyers yet for land specifically. We do it for houses all the time.
Yeah.
But so that's why I wouldn't trust our script, because my team might fuck that up and think it's the house script, right? But so I would maybe ask for a rough draft script is what I like to call it. We'll make it better. It doesn't have to be great. Just
Okay.
give me the intro and a couple of questions. We'll take it from there.
Okay.
And then a neighbor script. I would probably submit the same thing, a rough draft neighbor script, because I only have one client suggest it. So
Okay.
let's create something together, make it even better. And I'll tell you, those things should load you guys up, you know, if they work. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have like 7 or 8 things right now that we're trying to dispo, and yeah, it's just having a hard time, and we haven't done any of that. So that's like those 3 things right there. Like we could easily implement those.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
And
didn't
I have one client that does this. He pulls a cash buyers list. He texts them all, hey, I got a property in town available. Are you interested? You know, I got a 2-acre lot in town. Are you interested? Boom. They say yes. Then I don't know which of you two do the dispo, but then he has we would send the lead directly to you. You would reach out to them. Hey, I saw you interested. My partner just sent me over the information. Here's the info on the property. So I have another guy do that nationwide. He does that with houses, but I don't know why the same fucking strategy wouldn't work, right? It's the same outreach.
So I would just tell you the area. You could skip it and text it or cold call it, and then you just send the leads for any of those lists. Essentially, what we're doing with sellers, both buyers.
That's right. Hey, and especially like you said, you got 7 things to move. I would probably, and you know, we could even say, hey, we have several pieces of land in the area. I mean, why not just why just put one out there, right?
Sure.
Hey, we have several pieces of land available for sale. I saw you recently bought one. Are you still looking?
Yeah.
Something, and that actually sounds friendly. You guys should write that down.
Yeah.
I saw you recently. Are you still looking? You know, and then when they say yes, the cool thing about texting is you guys would create the script and give it to us. So I'd have that be the intro. And then if they say yes, I'll say, okay, great. Expect to hear from my partner, Matt, by tomorrow, the latest.
Yeah.
It would be that simple. And then we would send you the lead that same exact day.
Awesome. Or we could capture their email address on that text and then just
That's right.
send them the
Yeah,
flyer.
let me get an email address for you. I'll send the deal right over, and then my partner will be reaching right out. I like that even better.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Whew. Well, I just saw the time. I know that, you know, this is an hour, and I really appreciate you taking more time than that, but we definitely want to be respectful of your time.
Yeah, no, man, you guys are good, and I appreciate you guys meeting with me and forcing me to create all this stuff. You know, this is great. Like I said, I'm a part of a land education company now. So, you know, making this for you, you don't have any idea how much I just learned. And now, you know, it's like, it's really cool. And I'll tell you, I've always had that attitude anyways, but you know, there's really no other way to do it. As long as I'm learning, you know, I'm great. But no, I thank you guys so much. If you ever want to do this again or get caught up or anything, just feel free to book another call. Okay. I really do love these. All right. So feel free. And do you guys have any other questions before we depart?
I have one quick one with
Yeah.
the neighbor script. You know, sometimes we are not flipping it. We're not buying it outright and then flipping it. We're wholesaling it instead.
Yeah.
And so how does that work with like being like, this isn't our property, but do you want it?
Yeah, I
Just
don't think it matters. You know, I think it's just kind of like with houses, you know, whether, yeah,
Mm.
you know, I mean, it's a valid question that you asked. I think it's important not to think about that is the best thing and just pretend like you own it because you do own it. You own the contract, you
Mhm.
know, and that's what's important. And you could even say, hey, we own the contract. You know, and like, you know, a small example was I had a cold caller and when we first started and it said that we were interested in buying or I'm interested in buying. And she goes, Nick, I feel like I'm lying. I'm not interested in buying. I don't care. And I was like, well, would it make you feel better if you said we? And she was like, yeah, actually, it makes you feel a lot better. Right. And so I totally get what you're saying. And that's why sometimes those little framing things, because what happens is when you say you might say it like you're lying
Mhm.
because you know you're lying. If that, and I'm not saying you're lying, but you know, you might say it by accident wrong. As opposed to when you changed your framing of it, you now speak with more confidence too, you know. So I think that's the important part of framing, not that, oh, it's a good or a bad question. It's like, hey, we do need to talk about this because you might say it wrong if you don't believe what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Your psychology behind talking to sellers and like little gold nuggets like that is so
Yeah, that
incredible.
was so good.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'll tell you, 13 years of running restaurants, man. I swear to you guys, it taught me everything I need to know. I mean, I've dealt with drunk employees, high employees, customers, like
Mhm.
I've dealt with everybody and I've turned everyone around who could be turned around. That I think is like where like all of my education has come from. I've seen people go from meltdown to in love with me and not go to in love with me and they're just melting down and when I was growing up, I was a real motherfucker. You know, like I was like a horrible person and I pushed like all limits like to the max. Looking back, I actually was social experimenting with people. In the moment, I was probably just looking mischievous, but I'll just last story. I'm sorry. I'll
That's
stop.
great. Love it. Yeah.
But I have ADHD clearly, and a common trait of ADHD is something called BDD, behavioral defiance disorder. Okay. And it's something where you push every relationship to the brink of destruction and then you back off. Yeah.
Similar, very similar.
Yeah. Very, yeah. Let me tell you, it took me until probably 8 months ago to stop fucking doing that. Okay. I'm just kidding. It was probably 5 years ago, but I remember that, you know, every time I would date a girl in the beginning, I would still be talking to another girl. And it's not, I wouldn't even be cheating, but it would be disrespectful and rude. And it's like, I would always just teeter a little too far. Now, if I want to think about that in a positive light, rather than thinking I'm a scumbag, okay, which I prefer not to think that, the reality was I was testing limitations, you know, and I did it with teachers, I did it with parents, I did it with my friends' parents. And if we really think, and so I kind of know these thresholds a little bit, and I know how to pull people back
Mhm.
from those thresholds too, you know, because I've pushed my whole life, I've pushed them there, you know. But no,
You're saying a lot of things that resonate with me. I think I need to research more into ADHD.
Yeah, you need to do some BDD googling.
well, let me tell you, man, so my theory was in my 20s, if I have ADHD, I have to beat it. It can't beat me.
Yeah.
Mm.
And I started to I listened to like 6 ADD books, and they were all written by the same guy. And I believe they're called, and this was a long time ago. There might be better stuff out now, but it was called Married to Distraction, Delivered from Distraction, Working with Distraction. So each one had like with distraction in it as a cue, like, oh, that's the book Nick was talking about. I listened to all of his books.
Huh.
Okay. And I was like, and I could probably go for another listen, to be honest with you, but I learned so much. I'm almost getting goosebumps. I learned so much about myself that it like really helped me, you know, craft. It probably helped me even here because I listened to this when I was married before this business was ever even created.
Wow.
But that's one of my big things, you know, is I want to find my weakness. And instead of letting it beat the shit out of me, I literally want to beat the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Love
know? Yeah. I'm not gonna lose. But guys, I'm gonna get out of here. I thank you so much for the kind words, for the compliments and everything in the business. It's been awesome.
You're incredible. This was amazing. Thank
Yeah.
you so much for the gold nuggets and your time. And yeah, you're always such a pleasure to chat with.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
real.
guys. We'll
So fun.
chat soon. Thank you so much for being a longtime customers of ours.
For sure. Thanks, Nick.
Yeah,
Thank
see
you.